Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be covering how to use Packet Tracer the right way to actually get real experience that we're teaching in our program that helping people land jobs in tech, making six-figure salaries that you can guys see here. There's a bunch of six-figure salaries that a lot of our students are getting. So please take advice that I'm giving because it's going to be actual, tangible, useful advice that's actually going to help you land a job. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive straight in. So first thing I want to look at is, let me go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully you guys can see it here. This is Packet Tracer. Packet Tracer was a tool that I use that helped me land my first job in tech. Okay. I did not buy any equipment. I did not buy anything crazy. I just used Packet Tracer. Simple, just Packet Tracer. And if you use this tool, I promise you the right way, don't just don't do random stuff like just playing around. Try to use it the right way. And then really in this whole video, I want to show you what I would do and how I would use Packet Tracer to help you eventually build real skills that a real network engineer actually utilizes. Because the actual network engineering that you do on the job versus network engineering that you do on Packet Tracer, completely different that most of you guys are doing. So I want to make sure you guys can actually get that real life work experience. So first off, when it comes to Packet Tracer, you're going to see all these devices here, all these things. Obviously, you're going to see the, if I pull it up here, you'll see kind of like the PCs and devices here. You're gonna see obviously the ports. Everything else I wouldn't look at. So I'll look at this one, and this one. These are the only three that really matter. Okay, so kind of going into Packet Tracer here, you'll see all these kind of devices. And by the way, the thing with Packet Tracer that you guys should understand that it is a Cisco based kind of system, right? And with it being Cisco based, it's purely going to be Cisco products. So you can see here, there's a bunch of Cisco products here. We have the Cisco 4000 series device. I'll pull that up here. We have the PT models. We have some older models, but I'll just go with the Cisco ISR. We'll probably just drop in a 1941 as well. And then we also have the switches here. So these are all the switches in terms of layer 3 and layer 1 switches, or sorry, layer 3 and layer 2 switches. So here's like a layer 2 switch here. And then we also have a layer 3 switch here. Okay. And then now going into ports, obviously we have all the ports here. This is kind of like the electric button in a sense. But all it does, it will automatically kind of connect and it will kind of decide whether it's going to be a straight through or crossover cable automatically, right? And the way to kind of know this is like from here to here, this should be a crossover cable because they're like for like devices. So that's kind of how that goes there. But you don't have to worry too much about that because there is a protocol called Auto MDX, I believe, that would automatically do that for you. So shouldn't be too much of an issue for you, hopefully. So yeah, that's kind of how that is going to go. But going into kind of the system that we have here, these are all the devices that you can use. Obviously, we have the end devices here, all this kind of good stuff. We have the laptop, obviously, we have the server, all this kind of good stuff, right? Fantastic. This is cool. This is great. The issue that a lot of people do is when they're trying to build a network on Packet Tracer is they don't plan out the network. So it's important for you guys, if you guys are actually serious about learning Packet Tracer the right way, in the way that I would recommend, you're definitely going to have to learn how to build your own network from scratch and actually understand how that even looks like. So that's going to be what we'll be talking about in a bit. So one thing I want you guys to realize is when we are using with Packet Tracer, or even in a real life network, we have to first design the network. It's not a good idea to just go willy-nilly go into the device and start configuring. Ideally, you want to design a network and have a network in mind that you want to build. Is it going to be an office network? Is it going to be a service provider network? Is it going to be a data center? Is it going to be an airport? Is it a school, a hospital? Decide on what type of network you're going to build and decide on what type of devices you're going to use for the network, how many end users you're going to have. All this stuff has to be written out. The reason you do this is so you can have a scope and know exactly what you need to do. In real life, we have to do this because there's budget involved. We have to decide on how much equipment that we need, how much redundancy that we need. Like in most networks, you're going to have multiple devices on a network, right? You're going to have kind of like a regular, the side that we use currently, like the main side, and then like a standby side in case if it ever goes down. Obviously, most networks have redundancy in terms of that front. It is going to cost money, but that's something you have to think about. Another thing that's super important that a lot of people mess up with Packet Tracer is that they try to just configure without creating what is known as a method of procedure. A method of procedure is a way to kind of write configurations on your network, right? And the whole point of this is to, before you kind of configure the device, you're going to write it out in a Word file. of all the configs, including the config T, including the, all the show commands. You're going to have a pre-check, a post-check, all that kind of good stuff. You're going to write that stuff out, okay? It's important that you write this stuff out before you implement, and then we usually get that reviewed in real life. But in Packet Tracer, I want you to also implement those things in terms of writing the configurations beforehand, putting it in the text file, reviewing it to make sure this is exactly what we want to do, and then implement. That's much more effective than just going into device, right? Just literally just going into, like, let's say a random layer 3 switch here, opening up the CLI, and then just getting busy and just starting configuring just random stuff and just like, going here and like, configuring, doing some crazy stuff, and just like, I don't know, like, let's just say we want to change the host name for some reason, we'll just call it Wally. Like, there should be no reason you should be doing stuff like this. Ideally in real life, and I learned this when I started working, is we actually configure in real life. And that's something that you're going to be implementing at some point. So it's very important for you to understand that. So those are some of the things that you guys are going to be implementing at some point. So just be ready for that and understand how that works. And that's kind of the game plan there. So in terms of Packet Tracer, this is kind of what we have here. So for our example, I'll just build a simple network. Let's just build a home network. Or like a small office network, what they call like a SOHO network, I believe, like small office. So small office, you're typically going to have a router that connects to the internet. I'm going to put let's just call this the internet for now. Let's just say this is your internet provider. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this in text and say this is the ISP. And let's see if we can kind of zoom in a little bit to make it a little bit easier on your guys' eyes. So if I go and zoom in, okay, cool. So this is the ISP, obviously. And what I'll do is we're going to connect the fiber. Let's just assume it's single mode fiber. Let's just say okay, this doesn't have single mode fiber or multi-mode, I believe. Let's see. Okay, this device isn't capable of fiber. So for now, we'll just assume this is a fiber cable that connects here. Okay, I guess it doesn't let me connect. Let's see if I can find a different one that lets me connect. Let me delete this real quick. Usually that cloud does work. Let's just assume this is your ISP for now. Actually, screw that. Let's just make it a real ISP. Let's just make it an actual router. So we'll just connect this, and this is going to be your ISP router, okay? ISP is your internet service provider, right? So I'm just going to go and connect that with this one here, and we'll just keep that there. Okay. And then on your network, so this is going to be your your main router that connects to your ISP. And let's just say we have some end users here. We're going to add some laptops. We're going to add a server. We're going to add some more laptops. We're going to add a PC as well. Phone, TV, laptop. So let's see what else. Anything else we want to add? But yeah, let's just add some more laptops. Right. So you're going to have all these end users, and now all these, I added another server for no reason. Let me go and delete that server. Okay, so now we have all these end users, right? So now that we've decided, okay, we want all these end users on our network, next thing we got to identify is what type of local area network devices in terms of switches that we're going to be implementing. Most likely, most switches, we'll just, in this case, we'll just use a layer 2 switch, but you can also use a layer 3 switch. And we're going to go and connect this into our router. We're probably going to have another layer 2 switch as well to connect. So let's just go ahead and connect that there. This that can be connected. Are we out of? You cannot be connecting that port. What did I connect that to? This cable cannot be connected to that port. Let me just see what's going on here. Okay, let's just use fast Ethernet 01. And we're out of Ethernet ports. So one thing that you can do is just, this is not really ideal. It's not like, don't take this advice, but I'm just going to connect it to just the console. But that's not really going to work in real life. But let's just assume it is an Ethernet port, but because this router doesn't have too many ports. The way to add ports is you would just pretty much turn off the device and add another card. But we're not going to be doing that for now, just to save on time. Anyways, we should also connect this switch into an access point as well. So let me go ahead and grab some of them APs. So these are APs. There's lightweight APs. are APs that require wireless controller, and then there's like the general wireless APs. In this scenario, since it is a smaller network, you wouldn't need a wireless controller, right? And then you can learn this stuff all from AI in terms of how much devices you need in your particular network. So that's just something that you guys can learn about and kind of figure out. So that's just something I want you guys to remember. Also, one thing I want you guys to also understand in terms of designing your network, when you're designing it, decide on what is needed and what is necessary, right? Decide on how many end users you're having, and then decide on whether you need a wireless controller or not. If it's only 15 users, you definitely don't need a wireless controller, right? Because, I mean, how many APs would you even have on your network to manage, right? It's not going to be too many, so you might as well just use a regular AP. Also, decide on if you need a firewall, decide on all these things. You can use AI to kind of tell you what you need for your particular network. Very important that you guys do this. Super, super important. Designing is the most important part, and I want you to write it out and come up with something. Right now, I'm just kind of playing around, having fun, but this is how you should treat packet tracer. You need to think like an engineer, guys. Think of what type of network would I use here, right? Where would I put the server? Where would these things go? That kind of stuff is going to be very critical for you guys to understand to be able to be successful, right? But in this case, for now, like I said, this is not to be perfect. This is just to kind of brainstorm kind of the way a network engineer would think. We just add some APs here. Let's go and connect them together real quick with the AP here. And let's just go ahead and connect this here. And then obviously this AP is already connected to this for now. But one thing I want you guys to understand is there's different layers within a network. And I want you to think in layers, right? This is the access layer. At this point, this is what I would call like the distribution/core. This is more of a collapsed core network, right? But like I said, this whole point of this video is kind of to brainstorm and kind of walk you through how it goes. Now, in terms of writing configurations, I'm going to create this text file here. This is what I would call the MOP, right, which is called the method of procedure, okay? The method of procedure is the way that we write configurations. In the method of procedure, so let's just say this is your network that you want to build. On this, let's say, particular router here, you want to go and configure it. So you're going to do the pre-config, then you'll have the post-config, right? And then you'll also have the, what they call the procedure, right? So the procedure is what we will actually do to actually configure the device, okay? And this is very important because in real life, this is what we do, right? So pre-procedure is just going to have a bunch of show commands, okay? So show run, show IP int brief, right? Show interfaces, show IP route, etc., right? And then actually what you'll do is you're, obviously we'll have more commands here, but we'll copy it in the post. Now the procedure is pretty unique where we actually go and configure it. So this is actually, let's just say, is going to be for a certain device. Well, let's just say this is going to be for router 2. You're basically going to go on router 2 here, right? And then this is going to be the config. You're going to do the pre-config, the config here, which is, I'm just typing out the configurations for this router that I'm going to be using. Okay, very simple. And I'll just go ahead and just put the config here. You can also use like exclamation marks to kind of divide them. And then here you can just kind of put the config. So we can just do, let's just say you want to configure the host name, right? We'll configure the host name as R2. We will go and add an IP address. So IP, or rather you have to go into interface, right? And you can see here, this is gigabit 000. So gigabit 000. And we will go ahead and add an IP address of 192.168.10.2. Let's do that 10.1/30. And we will go and add that IP. We'll add a no shut as well on that interface. So what I'm doing is I'm typing out the commands that I'm going to be implementing. And these commands need to be heavily reviewed. And the reason they have to be heavily reviewed is because one error on a MOP, one error on this config can cause an error, a huge, what they call an outage. And I made a mistake like this before, where I configured an IP address. As you can see here, I configured a wrong, so if you pull up this MOP here, I configured an incorrect IP address, right? And when you configure an incorrect IP, let me pull this up here. When you configure an incorrect IP address, and I configured it like this on accident, but it was on a slash 27. This is like an example that can cause a mistake, right? And I caused a a massive outage in our network, which was really embarrassing. I'll be honest, very, very embarrassing. And but yeah, it just happens, and that's why the mop has to be constantly reviewed, because you're basically going to be copying and pasting the mop into the device, right? Because you're going to trust that the mop that you've written is correct. This is how we think as engineers. This is how we move as engineers. This is how we push configs. This is how we do what they call maintenance windows. This is the process, okay? So when you're using Packet Tracer, guys, you need to think like this. Don't just do random projects for fun and like, oh, like what is this router here? Let's just connect. No, think of how many end users, what type of users you're doing, then start building the configs for each device, put it in a template, review the configs. You want to get to the point where you don't even have to type on the CLI. You're just going to be pasting what you already written on the CLI. And we usually get these configs pre-built. Usually there's like templates that we use that we have. So obviously with Packet Tracer, you might have to do it by hand because you're not working in a team with templates, but that's what we do. So that is how I would love for you guys to use Packet Tracer. Use it in this manner. This is going to help you get real life experience that is actually going to be tangible for you to help you land a job. Okay, we've done this for multiple students, right? I have a program linked in the description where we help students go from zero to landing their first job in tech. We cover way more detail in terms of like what we talked about here, but to go into the weeds in terms of like the actual tools we use, how to interview the right way, and all that kind of stuff. And that's what we offer and help people. We've helped multiple students land jobs. You can see all the student testimonials here from all the students that we've helped. And this is mainly because we have a whole system in the way we work to help students land positions. So if you guys are interested in that, there's a link in the description. But like I said, this is the way to use Packet Tracer, in my opinion. Use it as a way to design your network, but also a way to write your configurations and actually implement your configuration. In terms of implementing, let me just kind of show you an example of how to do that. What I'll do here is I'm going to copy this config. I'm going to do Control C. So I copied it. And then I'm going to go into this router. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to just get rid of this dialog box. And I'm just going to go and paste the config here. I'm just going to double check the config to make sure it looks good. Config T, router 2, gigabit 00, 192.168.10.30.1. Okay, that looks good. Config T. I just want to make sure there's no weird thing that would cause any mistake. But anyways, I'm going to go and paste it in, and it should take the config. And I messed up because this should be not in dotted decimal notation. That's the main thing that I messed up on. But boom. So basically, you see how it took the hostname config, it took the gigabit config, and then obviously I messed up here because I didn't put in dotted decimal notation. I put it in slash notation. I should have caught that. But yeah, anyways, you get the caret, right? This caret is very common that we get within our networks. And then, yeah, so then I got it to go. And then now I'm basically done. I can just do a quick show run. I can show that the config was added on that interface. The interface is no longer on no shut, and the host name did change to R2. So that is kind of how that works. So, but yeah, that's kind of how you should implement, on a network. Very simple. That's kind of how we do it in terms of that. And that's kind of how what I recommend to kind of get that real life experience, guys. It's really that simple. And that's what we teach in our program down in the description below. Like I said, we've helped multiple students land jobs in tech, in networking, data center technician, network administrator. And if you guys are interested in that, like I said, link in the description. But if you guys like the video, you found this very informative and kind of got the sneak peek of what a network engineer is and how they work, hopefully this has been informative for you. So take the advice that I've given you and use that to practice, to think like an engineer. Don't think like a student. You're not a student right now. You're an engineer, and you want to think like an engineer, design like an engineer, work like an engineer. And I promise you, eventually you will become an engineer. So hopefully you guys like the video. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up. Like I said, if you guys are interested in the mentorship program that I have, link in the description. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys all have a good rest of your day, and peace.